Hi guys, I'm Shmee, hello and welcome back to the channel where you join me on a beautiful day back at the new Dub Customs. After wrapping many of my cars over the years, we are here again with the Porsche 718 Cayman GT4 that I dropped off the other day, brought out the Taycan, which we finally put back into its full glory. Today though is going to be the transformation as we change the GT4 from the Carrara White, as it looks at the moment, into the new Inozetek Midnight Purple. We're going to start off with that process. We've got some good news actually with regards to the PPF that was on the car that wasn't so good, and just for fun as well, as you probably noticed, I've come out in the GR Yaris, which of course Dub Customs did the livery on to be reminiscent of the old Celica from the 90s. So let's head in then, take a look at the GT4, and today see some of the transformation and the first panels going purple. Let's come and have a look then at the progress with the GT4. The guys have started the strip down and preparation process, so loosening all the different parts, removing things, for example, like the door mirrors and the door handles. Those are taken off so that you can do the door as one single piece without having to have awkward cut lines in the material that's going to go over the top of it. For example, around the front, that panel's been taken out to get a little bit more access as well. The front bumper has been loosened. That's going to be taken off in just a moment. And the good news is that the PPF has now been removed. The team have already done that, and thankfully underneath what was an awful PPF job done by a third party, thankfully the paint is looking really quite good. Of course there are one or two stone chips. I bought the car as a used car, that's not a huge surprise, and we're going to be replacing these front grille inserts because, well, these have definitely seen better days. They are absolutely peppered with little chips. So we've got some new ones of those in the bag in the front at the moment, but all of the areas that looked a little bit suspicious before, for example, the fuel filler cap, have all come up and cleaned very, very nicely. In fact, let's come round just so I can show you one of the mirrors, because those were really very sketchy, I think we can say before. They were definitely at the dubious end. The good news is that they are completely fine, completely perfect. All of the glue, no dodgy cut lines. That's one of the things you always get worried about when it comes to this kind of thing. So we're going to be changing this from the Carrara White, named after the white quarries in Tuscany, to the Midnight Purple, keeping the Aurum Gold along with a few other gold accents around the car. And we have the Inozetek material here that we took a look at last time. The colour is spectacular. Of course, at the moment we're inside without the bright sunshine on it, but when I take this outside, believe me, it looks the part. It is a fantastic colour. It's going to be incredible on this, especially combined with some of the other gold areas. For example, the wing uprisers, the wing struts that we have that are going to be replaced with the new ones from RSNV in the same Aurum Gold, and I'm thinking to probably do the GT4 badge as well to make it truly match the part throughout. But today, now that it's all basically prepared, we're going to have things like the bumper being taken off to get those grille inserts changed, and then it'll be time to start making this car look a little bit purple to get an idea for how it's going to be. Just quickly before cracking on with this, the colour sample in the sunshine for the Midnight Purple, the GT4 in this colour is going to look insane. The finish as well of this material, there is such a gloss to it. The metallic, I can tell you from the Taycan, the same as the Midnight Green that I have on the Taycan, that it gives a really paint-like finish, and this is what we're going to have on the GT4 very shortly. This is going to be so good. Here we go then. Rear wing has been removed, just like that. Those risers, which mount in here, in fact, I'll just come very quickly and open this, of course. Open that up. The door cards have been removed. Always interesting to see these different bits and pieces. These actually attach quite simply. A couple of bolts in the side, and then a few ancillary bits that go around that. And then over here, we have the RSNV package along with these new front grills, which is where we take this. Now, total guess just for the moment which side is which, but effectively, if this is closed back down, that goes into there, and it's going to look very, very good with the gold wheels as well. That is awesome. Big thanks to RSNV for hooking me up with those and making them the same colour as the wheels. Fast forward a bit, and things here are significantly different to how they were earlier. Just a few little things that have been taken off the car. You might be wondering what all of this is about. Well, the car has been fully stripped because it is going to help significantly with the wrap process in this particular instance. Now, because it is a Carrara White car, a very bright white, that means when you have wrapped the various panels, you would still see a bit of white down through all of the panel gaps. Now, in this particular case, all of the most easily removable parts have been taken off to make it possible to wrap them in detail to have the best possible result. So things like the front bumper actually come off remarkably easily. The headlights as well, they just slide on out. Things here like the side skirts and the noticeable absence of a door, it actually completely lifts off very, very easily. Even the side pods here, but with all of the brackets remaining in place so that when they're reassembled, they go straight back exactly as they were. Nothing is going to have moved. If we come around towards the rear, the tail lights will slide out as well. A part of the diffuser has come out. This whole rear section will come off as well, because that means everything can be tucked in. Here would be the perfect example. You can see here how much white you can see through that little gap. If you didn't take these out, you would still have a bright section just there, which obviously is not going to be ideal when the car is then dark purple, to look at it and spot bits of bright white that stand out when you're looking through. Of course, it is slightly concerning when you see it like this, I'm not going to lie, but thankfully I know it's in good hands. I know the direction that this is going to be heading, and it's going to have the perfect result at the end as well. A little bit more stripping, driver door removed and the lights at the back, plus we have the Inozetek Midnight Purple material with the capping sheet, and that looks so good with that peeled back. This is about protection, of course. That colour is incredible, especially with the lights. So it's going to be time to get to work on this. The guys have done some preparation of the panels to begin over here with the front wing, the front corner. Obviously the headlights were pulled out so that it can be wrapped and tucked around as I described earlier. The bonnet can be opened or closed as needed to do a little bit of this as well. And everything in here is also going to be done as part of the process. To do the door shuts, I've never had a car vinyl wrapped, including the door shuts, but with the bright white, it's really going to set it off when that's all done and finished up. Also, it's just a little bit odd to see the car like this. Imagine driving with no doors. That'd be an odd sensation. Look at that colour. I'm not sure if it shows fully as I see it, but the finish of this for a material wrap, this is incredible. This is going to look so good on the car. Purple's always been one of my favourite colours, hence the 675. This just needs to be measured out and cut for the part. It is time then. Let's get this in the light. Wow. That's going to look so good. Guys just have to line it up, work with the shapes. Obviously this is quite an awkward panel the way it curves over in multiple directions. This colour is awesome. This is going to be so cool. A little bit of heat for the material, which just helps pull everything into shape and enables it to go down over the bodywork of the car. We see working with the almost ridgeline that you have down here along the wing. I just can't get over this colour, especially when it's been finished up and it finally goes into place. It's always a fascinating process to see how the vinyl goes down from here.
Yeah, it's nice. It's good.
All the way down to the bottom corner. And that is technically in place. Obviously it will need trimming out.
With a bit of heat here, it gets rid of all the fitting swirls.
Oh, amazing.
So the technology in the wrap is self-healing.
This is starting to take shape, but I actually want to come around to show you something on the other side of the car, around the back, which is also looking slightly unusual, because on this side, work has started with the shuts. And look at this, the first time I've ever had door shuts done as part of the wrap on one of the Shmeemobiles. And it is actually now the 13th car that the guys here at Dub have done of the Shmeemobiles, which started with the Midnight Purple R8 way back when. So I'm very excited to see what this colour is going to look like when all completed, especially with this. That combination. This is going to look incredible with all of the details when all of this is finished, with the gold, with the purple. It's going to be awesome. If you're wondering what's going on here with the removal of the fuel filler cap and now all of the masking, the reason for this is twofold. One, to stop all of the grit that you might get on the underside of the vinyl material. The other is because of it, again, being a white car, which means you want to be able to fold the material all the way up to the inside edge here. Otherwise, when the fuel filler cap is closed, you'll catch a glimpse of white around the edge and it will stand out far too much. Hence the masking on this. Close it up for the time being to work on this panel next. On goes the second side. Initially, it's always amazing to think that's going to be smoothened out eventually. All the ripples removed, nice and tidy like the other side. Extra bits and pieces of masking to tidy things up, make it match like this side. Oh, that's nice, so you get the bright reflection off the edges there. Just make sure every single part of that is covered up so that nothing basically can get lifted as a result. Time for the bonnet. Large piece, but very flat piece. So done in a slightly different way, actually, still with the cap sheet on for the time being. That will be taken off just after. But after this is in place, we're going to have our first real feel for what the front of this car is going to look like. Just the gold against the purple with the wheels, the yellow accents still, the calipers, seat belts and different interior trim pieces. Still find it odd without a door and that whole side of things, but this starts from the middle, works out towards the sides, wraps around, and it's definitely going to look like a very nice GT4 when this is all said and done. Off goes the cap sheet. There we go. All of the edges get heated a little bit so that they can be wrapped around and tuck on in nice and smoothly. And by doing that, obviously minimizing how much white you're going to be able to see from the outside to get a very nice effect and final result from all of this.
The front of this is looking awesome, but we're going to take a quick hiatus. I will be back in just a moment for you guys to see the update as a little bit more of the GT4 has been transformed. Welcome back! It is time then for a bit of an update, but before we get to the car and the progress that is being made with that,
I want to show you exactly what we have here from RSNV, the various parts which we have just opened up, because the packaging of this is really quite good, to be honest. We've got the gold wing risers. Those are the base parts, which are actually larger than the standard parts because of how much wider the actual supports are themselves. And it even comes with a full handy toolkit to be able to do this. Very nicely packaged. These are all going to be assembled because that is the next step, to go and see how things are going with the rear wing and then to get it into place with the gold wing risers. Progress back here then on the tailgate, which is quickly turning purple, obviously removing the section over the rear glass. These are the mounting points in question. This will need to be trimmed and finished up. And then over this side, the underside of the rear wing. Now starting on the underside means when you do the top side in place back on the car, it will hold in place, but also create the best possible finish. This is going to be all done, I think, in the next short while. I'm actually quite excited to get the wing mounted on the back here in just a moment. We've got one of the wing risers in. You transfer the weather seal from the original riser. It bolts in at the side. Then this, with the RSNV logo, actually goes over the top of this before you bolt on the upper part. So that sits right down to the bottom. If I pull this down, you can get a little look as to how that's going to be. This is just going to look mega when it's all said and done. So obviously that will get sealed properly, but when the wrap has been finalised, before we can, I guess, mount everything back on and see and get a feel for how that's going to look. After putting in the second riser, we now have the brackets at the top, which of course the wing attaches onto, and these have two different positions, so we have angled it slightly forwards, because who doesn't want downforce on a GT4? Time to pop the wing on with the underside completely finished. This will line up approximately into place. Start to get a little feel for how that's going to look. Obviously it will need to be bolted in and tied in properly. We will save attaching these until the very end, but this will make it easier to wrap the top of the wing when it's in place and obviously being held properly without moving around at all. Time to get the material down on the rear wing. Again, cut to size. Needs a lot of work though, given the fact that this actually has a bit of a scoop in the middle of it and has to be worked over the end plates, if you can call them end plates, on this. And then we're going to see what the final result is like back here, I think, to wrap things up for this evening.
we have the wing,
And it is looking incredible. Small details, but very significant details as we undergo this transformation then to the Inozetek Midnight Purple with the Aurum Gold. I am very, very relieved to have the perfect match with the colours as well. As you probably remember from the Taycan, there are two different colours of Porsche Aurum Gold because about 2 years ago they changed it. So this is the newer colour that we have as a perfect match all around. Of course, still looking a little bit odd without some of the components, but this is all now trimmed out, looking absolutely spot on, and that contrast between the gold and the purple is just perfect. This is a really, really dark colour, very, very reminiscent of my original Midnight Purple Audi R8 Spider, the first car that I ever wrapped, and I can just tell you that this is going to be so, so nice when all is finished. I tell you, maybe if it didn't have the yellow stitching, we could have done some golden accents on the inside, but I think the gold and yellow inside would be a little bit too much, and it does kind of work like this. Anyway, this is going to be a very cool little car. I mean, it is always a cool car, the Cayman, and especially the 718 Cayman GT4, but now, as it makes its way through this progress here with Dub Customs, it is well and truly transforming into something that is just going to look insane. So I think I will say farewell for now to the process. We'll catch up with the car when it's just about completed, or maybe when it's actually ready to be driven out onto the roads. So a big thanks to Dub Customs for all of their help with this. A big thanks to Inozetek, who provided the material, and of course also to RSNV, who provided the wing risers as well. This is going to be a pretty epic little thing. That's it for now though. Thank you very much for watching as always, guys, and I'll see you again very soon. Cheers!